Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you. TGIF. And it's also TGIF. Everyone's okay with TGIF? Yep. Yeah. It's also Daffodil Day, and as many of you may know. And I thought it just appropriate to give you an update on Jane. As some of you will know, that Jane did have a bit of a challenge with breast cancer. And the good news is she's pretty much getting there with it. And it was just ironic today. She mentioned last night that it was Daffodil Day. And she said, oh, I wish I could come and say hello to everybody. So all of your good thoughts and kind wishes over the last couple of years were sincerely appreciated. So thank you for that. And it must have worked, because she's in good shape and as cheeky and as painful as ever. Moving along. So welcome again to the 2012 Roadshow. Today we're going to give you quite a bit of information. There's a great lineup of speakers, and they've all given their time as a favour to me and to help you. So bear that in mind as you listen to their talk. They've spent some time putting things together for you today so that you can take away something that's valuable. And this is, we're not a large corporate, and we'd like to differentiate ourselves from the corporates. There's things they probably do better than us, but on the other hand, we're probably a bit more human, I suppose. In other words, we care about our clients, and we're pretty keen to make sure that you succeed. And that's one of the reasons that we put these on. So it gives you something else that you can grab onto and work with. And I realise that more feedback and support from us would be helpful for some of you. So today as we go through, we're going to have a reasonable emphasis on investing. A lot of you like to hear about investing. And I've got a couple of people from Hamilton who are going to give you a great talk as you'll hear later today. Also, I'll talk about the economy. You have to have some of that. Because it's not fixed, and it ain't going to be fixed for a while. Good news is, though, we can still make money. But we've just got to be careful, because it is dangerous out there. It's not how it looks, is what I would say. So I'll cover some of that in some depth later. There will be, of course, a bit of mindset information, because I can tell you after 28 years of advising and being an investor, the mindset comes first, the money comes second. That's the easy way. The hard way is if the mindset isn't in the right place and you're trying to get the money sorted, it's very difficult. So bear that in mind as you go through, although there's not too much of that today. At the end, though, I'm hopeful that what you'll do is take away some things, and I'm going to have you sit down and break out into groups. So there'll be a great opportunity for you to talk to each other. And I definitely encourage you to do that. Not only the people at your table, but everyone else. We're going to have a breakout session, because last time we did it, a lot of the feedback was very positive about the breakout session at lunchtime. So you had a chance then to chat to each other and ask some really great questions of each other. And I'm not there, so you can talk about me as well if you've got nothing better to do. You might. So those breakout sessions are great. We'll have a couple of those throughout the day as well. Now, a little bit of housekeeping. And I don't want to even mention the word earthquake, not that I live in fear, but I think we're done and dusted, aren't we? Yeah? I think we're done. We're moving on. Can't use that one anymore. But by a slim chance, if there is anything, I understand we've got to go out that door. We'll give you the signal. And don't have to wait for me to give you the signal if you want to burst out of the doors. Feel free. And on the lawn out there is where we'll meet. So look, enough of that. I don't think we're going to need it. Now in front of you, you should have handouts. Has anyone not got a handout from this morning when you arrived? Just stick your hand up. Has everyone got a pen? I see we've got a great pile of pens up front. If you need a pen, anyone need a pen? All good? Just sing out. Brenda's very kindly offered to give up her day today and come and help us out. So lucky Brenda, she gets to run around after a family before she came here. She'll be doing it when she goes home, and she'll be running after you today. So feel free to contact Brenda anytime if you want any help or need anything. So you've got the program in front of you, and what we're going to do is we're going to go through again, and I want to encourage you to think about what level you're on with your money. And in your handouts you'll have that levels handout, which is in front of you. And throughout the day I'd like you to ponder where you think you are on those levels. They're pretty basic. But I guess the aim is to get you to the next level. That's the plan. That's my plan for you. And I would like to think it's your plan for yourself. Because you can stay where you are. That's the old default position, isn't it? And you won't necessarily get to the next level if you just invest money. That won't necessarily get you there. You'll need to get that mindset aligned with your big picture goals. So that who you are and how you behave will need to match up with what you want. Now, if you can do that, then you'll find the money stuff kind of fits into place. So how to get the most out of today is level up. Level up means pay attention, and I'll be watching you from here, of course. I can see what you're doing. And if I'm not standing up here, I'll be floating around watching each one of you, and I'll see if you're not paying attention. I will know. So at the moment, you're all looking pretty perky. That's all good. Keep that up throughout the day. Ask questions, just ask. And probably best to keep questions to the end, otherwise it may drag on. So at the end of each session there will be time for questions, but if you really want to ask a question throughout, okay, fine. But save your questions at the end of each session and you'll be able to ask. At the end of the day there'll be a Q&A as well. We'll spend a quarter of an hour, 20 minutes on that, just so you can round out the day and say, right, this is the one question that wasn't answered today. Or, hey, I've just thought of this question. So engage beyond listening. Don't just sit there and kind of let it float. Ask yourself each step, how can you use the information? How can you plan better or make more money? How can you adjust your mindset? And a good cue to adjusting mindset is to look at what your habits are. So to get the best from today, summarise your learning and action log. And I think in your handout you should have a learning and action log. Just check. That's where you write down, don't take notes on it. Use that for the really important aha moments, the big picture points, those points that really mean something. Has everyone got that handout? Yep. So that's the main things you want to take away. Does anyone need paper to write on? I mean, you can write on some of your handouts if you want. Brenda's got paper, and if you need some, Brenda's going to leave it perhaps over on that side cabinet over there beside the wall planners. So if you need a bit of paper, just wander over there and grab some. So the paper will be over there on that cabinet. This true potential, you've seen me draw this before, and we'll do it again. Because I think this encapsulates the essence of what we're trying to achieve. So here's you, say, or me, sitting in this circle in my little comfort zone, doing the same things I always do, procrastinating on some of the things I know I should be doing. And the way I do that is I get busy doing things that I really like, so that I pretend to myself I don't have to worry about those other things that I know I should be doing. Yep. Now, I don't know if any of you do that, but I know I do it. So I should be getting out there and I should be talking to accountants and lawyers and educating them about value investing. Why don't I do it? Because they're painful, they're difficult, they fight tooth and nail, It's like, oh, it's all rubbish. And some of them come up with things like, oh, it's like gambling. And later today we're going to show you that value investing is the opposite of gambling. It's actually about certainty, as we'll show you. So here I am in my little comfort zone doing what I like doing just because I'm convincing myself that I'm being very important and busy and effective and doing all those good things I should be. Meanwhile, the real action lives out here. So this here is my comfort zone. This is the points of resistance, those red lines. Now we refer to those as progress barriers and financial failure friends. The progress barriers are the ceilings of complexity, the limits to your further progress. You've all got them. The trouble with them is you can't see them. They're not physical and tangible, they're intangible. So today, I hope what you'll do is pick one of these, just one, and take it away and start working on it. Now this whiteboard here might represent your true potential. And most people know that your true potential is well beyond what you do on a day-to-day basis. And some of you, if you're like me, you have frustration about the fact that you know deep down you're not really cutting to the quick and doing all you can do because we're sitting in this zone. We'll get now to the $2.5 million blueprint. I don't know if any of you have seen this, but it starts from really looking at how you want to live your life. You'll have handouts on this, although I doubt you'll be able to read them. But Brenda, can you take a note to email everyone here the $2.5 million blueprint? Okay. So what is this about? Well, in the end, it's about how you want to live your life. It's not about money or value investing or shares or property or any of that stuff. Those are just tools that we use. It's about how you want to live your life. Some people are that caught up in slaying the dragons and kicking the alligators off their ankles, so to speak, that they're not focused on what their life would really look like because they're just getting by from one day to the next. And that's why, of course, we have the time zones, so you can segment out different activities into different slots. And it's really important. Some of you do that quite well, a lot of you don't. You could do better with the time zones. And if you did, you'd find that you'd have greater control and you'd be working toward living your life the way you want quicker. And what I reckon is that it comes down to understanding money, getting the mindset right, and having the planning so you position yourself. So financial planning is about positioning. So planning is, all that boring stuff that we do. It's retirement analysis, analysing cash flows, but it's all about positioning. You want to position yourself so you're in the best place you can possibly be, maximising your resources. And how you do that is you use the $2.5 million blueprint. Mindset's first, because if you get that right, it's much easier for you to get the money things right. For a start, you'll come along to something like this, rather than prioritise other less strategic things, which you've all done. Congratulations. So what do we mean by this mindset thing? Well, we're just talking about things you'll know. It's having control over your time and your environment. Now, you don't have control just because you have flexibility. I have flexibility, but I don't always have control. If I've lined up a book of appointments for the week, and I only do it on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, maybe Thursdays, that block of time, it's by design, but basically it's gone that time, isn't it? It's history. So what you've got to watch out is that messy stuff doesn't creep in, and that the things that you're filling your life up with are not adding any value to anything. They're just messy, rubbishy things, putting out fires, damage control, those sorts of things. And if you're having that, it's because you're not well positioned, because you haven't got the planning in place. And we're letting you down. So that's why we're going through, you'll have noticed I'll be harassing you about the risk management stress test. Some of you have had it, some of you haven't, it's coming your way. Also, we're going to do the old retirement analysis, And clients yesterday said, oh, Peter, we're too young for that. No, it's about positioning. We've got to see how it looks. So we can kind of see you're 100 miles away, or actually you're closer than you think. So getting control over your time means you've got a clear head, you've got the right space. You can be in the right place to think clearly about how you're going to position yourself. The problem solving, of course, is about the solution creator tool, which many of you do not use, I've noticed. The solution creator tool is a really powerful tool. And I suspect people don't understand the magic until they use it. And then they resolve a problem or a barrier or an obstacle. And they get through it. They can see their way through that issue. So I'd strongly encourage you to use that. If you're not in the money matrix, join the money matrix and we can give it to you. Attitude, of course, comes from the time control and the problem solving, so you're not stressing about rubbishy stuff, and the habits that you implement. So you can either modify, implement, or delete a habit. All those things will help you to keep your attitude in the right place, because attitude and activity will be the drivers. So we can fill that out. You can't read it, don't worry, but this is the money stuff. And what we have in there is shares, property, business. And we'll send you that, you can take a look at it, and it has everything in there from, you know, with shares it's got to be value, value's price to value, isn't it? It's earnings growth, dividend payout ratio, use of capital. Later I'll show you a clip, and I'm sorry it's a pretty scratchy clip, of Warren Buffett. And there's a real good message in his little video clip that we're going to get you to go away and talk about. But one of the things he does, he looks at a business and he says, I don't look at the price because that'll just, you know, get me all distracted. I just look at that business and I say to myself, what is that worth? And then he tries to work out what he reckons it's going to be worth in maybe 10 or 15 years' time. Notice he doesn't say next month or next year. Notice he says, I don't even want to look at price because it'll just distract me. I'll repeat that. Notice how he says, or he doesn't say, I won't look at price because it'll distract me. My point there is, if you look at price all the time, you're not necessarily looking at the right thing. And I know that our reports report to you in price. So I'm perpetuating it. But he says, you know, if it's worth $1 billion now, and I reckon it's going to be worth $5 billion in 15 years, to me that's a good deal. That's what he's doing. Also, there's property, and I think property, as I'll show you later, is not what it was. It's changing, and it's a secular change. It's not that it's no good, but I suspect that the money that's being made out of property in the past will be made differently in the future because of the way things have shifted. The environment is different. It's not the same, and we'll talk about that later. Business, some of you will never be in business, that's no problem. Others of you are, some of you want to be. And the business warrant of fitness is something I've developed over a few years. And for our clients that engage in it, they really love it. It really helps them to maximise their profits in their business. First of all, to get control of it. Secondly, to focus on bottom line profit margin. And thirdly, to grow it. No point in growing a business if you don't have control. Best to get control. And we do that with key performance indicators, operations manual, vision, mission, culture, all that sort of stuff. Get that embedded in. Then we can focus on driving underlying profit in the business. And the one I look at closely is not the gross profit. I know the accountants like it. Is net profit margin. Because it's after everything, really. It's the bottom line, as they say. And it's all about what drops to the bottom line in your business, in my view. And so it's how do you drive that? Well, you've got to start with getting control of your business, so then you can focus on those profit drivers. And I've got the Business Warrant of Fitness, a thing called the Business Numbers Game, and it has 200 different initiatives that will help business owners to focus on increasing their bottom line profit margin. And bottom line profit margin is just another way of saying money they put in the bank. The funny thing is they don't need 200, you only need 2 or 3 or 4 to really work out of the 200. So that's powerful. So that's why I put all this stuff together, because people are out there kind of doing some good stuff and sort of not. And what these things do is enable our clients to really focus on some things that will work. It's all based on world best practice. None of it's stuff that I schemed up yesterday while I was driving my car. Right? It's all based on world best practice and what I'm doing or what I do. So that's the money side. And there is the $2.5 million blueprint. And it includes, as you can see, understanding money, shares, property, business, getting the mindset right, and I didn't discuss it, but it's all this planning, all the bits in that. And if you can get all that together in one neat little system, then you're going to be wildly successful financially, and you're going to manage risk very effectively. Okay, well I think am I ahead of time? Can't be that quick, surely. That's me. Okay, any questions? None? All right, that's okay. Save them for later. What we'll do now is we'll take a couple of minutes and we'll just prepare and we'll get ready for our next speaker.